Hi everybody, I'm back and it's Friday. I love it. Of course, every day's Friday to me, and I get to live that out each and every day. So welcome to another pop-up Facebook Live. I didn't plan on doing this one. I did not plan on doing a Facebook Live today specifically about Essential Ultimate Self-Care. Hi Mary Catherine. But you know what? When intuition hits, when spirit hits, Lauren, are you coming back on with me for a few minutes? I would love it if you would. Because I have a topic, Lauren, that you would be able to tune right into totally. So anyway, I just came home from a huge event of 300 people celebrating women at International Women's Day. And if you noticed, I'm just going to pull it up here. On my post this morning, as much as I advocate celebrating anybody, anytime, what I wrote on my post was, I know they say it's International Women's Day, and I'm truly believing that we are headed to a time and space in this new world that we can celebrate life for all living things, all the time, and every single day. You know, it's nice to celebrate birthdays and put emphasis on things, but I would really like to see a more balanced place of that. We're in celebration all the time, and I believe that's happening. And part of that is because I believe with essential ultimate self-care that happens in your body, soul, spirit, your emotions, right? Your physical body, your spiritual body, that when we up that into a space of complete balance, our whole life changes. Are you coming on, Lauren? Lauren says, okay, cool. And when that happens, your life isn't the same anymore. It totally changes. So this is why I knew I had to talk about self-care in a brand new conceptual way that people don't even grasp hold of. And I'm talking about more than just the once a month massage, taking yourself out for dinner, giving yourself a pedicure treat. I'm talking about extreme ultimate self-care. So Lauren's going to try to come on. So Lauren, I think you have to ask me to invite you because there's no green bar there. There was, I could wave to you, but now there's just the normal. So while I was at this huge event today, there was an incredible speaker. She's a Canadian comedian. 20 years actually. She's the head of Gilda Radner's comedy place in Toronto, and what she spoke about was so poignant that I went up to her after and we chatted about, ready for this, the energy word. She got it, and she said it's so nice that I can say that word and somebody gets what we're talking about. And I should have brought the magazine up and showed you her picture. Maybe I'll put it in the feed after here. So, okay, Lauren, let's see. There's a thingy here. So I'm going to approve. See if that works, Lauren. I was so excited to hear her talk about community in a unique way, and I think it stirred the room. I really believe it stirred the room. So, and I know it stirred me. I know. Clear requests. Let's try it again. Lauren, can you try it again? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get Lauren approved to come in here. There, I invited you. And so that was so good today. And then the executive director of the Women's Transition Home also spoke a message near and dear to my heart. And it was so in tune with what I teach worldwide. And I sat there thinking, oh my God, people are definitely waking up to this phenomenal thing about going deep within inside to find that inner balance and to find that inclusiveness within. I mean, the biggest lie we've ever been told is that we're separate. The biggest lie we've ever been told is that we're separate. Separate from ourselves, separate from community, separate from the world, separate from our creator, universal source energy, whatever you want to call it. And so when I decided to run the Essential Ultimate Self-Care group, I knew that it would improve your relationships. I knew that it would achieve more clarity for you, that it would advance your intuition to a higher level, that it would increase your self-worth. And at every single issue we have in life, guys, it's about our self-worth. So if I can help support your self-worth up to a new level and help cultivate your purpose, alleviate depression, like, wow, imagine that. And it's so simple. It's easy. It's easy, guys, but it takes some work. It takes some effort to be willing to look at yourself in a whole new light than ever before. And I actually got to see that. So Lauren, I'm trying, girl. I am trying. Add viewers. I already invited you. She's going to switch to her phone. It was so enlightening to see two women stand up and talk in a new, balanced, energetic way. So with this group that I formed, this is so timely. With this Facebook group that I formed, and it's going to last 30 days, and it's already started, but the official big launch is on the 14th, which is my birthday. The unofficial launch is happening, and I'm posting in there all the time as well, and doing conversations and teaching and coaching in there too. So that's already happening. But this group, as I say, will help empower you and really help you know self-care in a brand new way. And if you're like most people and in touch with yourself, you probably feel like you're extremely tired all the time, that you're a little off balance, that you have some anxieties and fears about life in general, that you're kind of worried about your future, that you're exhausted at the end of the day, you're exhausted during the day, and sometimes you wake up exhausted, and then you have to go out and work in a job, right? How many of you work in a job? And Lauren's laughing. Okay, Lauren, why are you laughing? Because you can't get on? And you know, when we work at a job, it loses our passion for living. So I teach you how to move from a job into your passion and how to get the resources flowing in so that you can be able to pay for food at the same time, right? And so I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but it all ties into the same thing. I reassure you of that. So, you know, when you are barely surviving, when you're depressed, when you're anxious, when you're sad, when your relationships are inside out and upside down and you don't have energy, I mean, some days you just want to give up, right? And I know that feeling, and I know a lot of my viewers have that same feeling, and my clients used to have that same feeling too. So one of the beautiful things I get to do is transform people's lives when they're ready. Hi, Trisha. Trisha Gelder's on. Hello, Trisha. And Lauren, we're still trying to get Lauren on. So when you want to up-level your life, there's a few things that need to happen for that. First of all, you have to put up your hand and say, yeah, I'm ready. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being depressed. I'm tired of being worried. I'm tired of being anxious. I'm tired of not having wonderful relationships. I'm tired of not being able to give to me what I need, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if there's anything left over, especially as women, and I'm not knocking men, but especially as women, we've been trained to give to everybody and everything else and then give to yourself. So imagine a world where you're giving to yourself, where you know how to give to yourself, when you're in extreme self-care and your life is going along, where depression is lifted, where you have a purpose, where you increase your self-worth, where you eliminate depression and anxiety, when you improve your relationships. Think of your world as a whole new playground, because that's exactly what it'll look like. So I'm going to put the link below about the self-care group. And as I say, it's for 30 days. So get in, because I'm not taking hundreds of people in this. I just can't, because I'm going to cater to you specifically in there, helping you, supporting you, and empowering you. And I know Lauren's been trying to get in, and I'm going to try once more, Lauren. Once more, girl. Okay, I can add. Something happened. Oh, adding. And we're going to switch topics. We're going to switch topics as soon as Lauren gets in here. And she doesn't know what the topic is. And Lauren is my broadcast buddy. we used to have a show on Lab talking about the things people didn't want to talk about. So our show was that a few years ago.
I'm
Hi,
here.
Laura.
I made it.
Hi.
I'm on live with Judy.
I love it. So I had an interesting day with a lot of hope around ending diversity and being inclusive and equality because I was at an event for the women's transition home here. And there was 300 of us, and included in that was our dignitaries and mayor and council and police chiefs and executives and people like that supporting the town. And it was quite interesting because we know that domestic violence is at the top of the list, and both male and female.
Right.
And I know the director of the transition home really well, and I knew a lot of the dignitaries there. In fact, we had a member of parliament there too, and she's an awesome lady. So it's interesting because she was talking about balance and diversity and segregation and inclusion. And 2 nights ago at my board meeting, we were talking about the same thing because Theatre Orangeville includes all types of people and all types of disabilities, let's just say, all types of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what they are. And they bring them into the arts program in a really cool way. They integrate them. And our executive director was talking about maybe adding like a fourth pillar stone of what that means and what we could say about it. And as he was talking about how we can be more inclusive and less diversified, I said, this just came over me, and I said, but there's something that's very diverse or uninclusive about saying that in the first place.
Right.
Like, why do we, right? And you get this, why do we need to say we include and this, I talked to the executive director from the family transition home, and she's in the same process of restating their mission by not being segregated of anything but inclusive.
Right.
So to me, it's like, well, we need to say all people. Like, for instance, I don't say, now welcome my Apache friend,
Yeah.
Lauren, right? Because I don't think of you as Apache or anything, as you're just you're my friend, you're a person, you're another person.
Yeah.
So, but
It's so funny you bringing that up because, like we have had conversations before, but it's a really weird, like we're in this really weird place socially, um, because so many people are sort of like self-segregating, and so many people are giving themselves labels or giving other people's labels, and you know people want to support them, so they give them a label to support, to give awareness of. But it's sort of like a weird process, because even though you're trying to do something that's really good and helpful for a community that's, marginalized or whatever, it still separates the community. And I'll give you like a great example. This is here. You're in Canada, so I'm in the United States. So here in the United States, I always wonder to myself, because there's business organizations that are like, young entrepreneurs night, women's night, and the African American community here is really big on supporting, each other. And I kind of like, I'm in South Carolina, so it's not like a state that has a lot of Native American communities. So I kind of like sometimes feel like I have a lot of history in common with the African American story and the Native American story, even though we're from different continents. That when the Europeans came here, from that point forward, there was a very similar story. And I oftentimes wonder why there isn't more inclusion between, those two, peoples, or whatever you want to call it, because everything's so similar, but, you know, the color of our skin is different. And it's just different, and it's not just look like on this is a common experience that we've had, so of course we'll be together. There's like so many more layers of factors that keep us separated
Hmm.
from building something based on a common, whatever energy or whatever, a common history. So I do have some friends that are like super awesome and super great and totally get that and look at it that way. Um, but I just feel like because of the way it's been dealt with in the past and because of the way social media is now, that it does put this wedge, if you want to call it, for lack of a better word, between the two communities, which does nothing really for us, but create a wedge. So that's just one example of what I'm talking about, and
Yeah.
what you're talking about too. Like, yeah, like it should be people that have common interests should come together based on their common interests. And even there's even so many discussions talking about, when you're trying to, um, what's the word I'm looking for? When you're trying to evolve and trying to, come to a higher place, that says like to get to the next level of understanding yourself and where your place in this universe is, to drop all of those titles, like drop the gender thing, drop your culture, drop all that, and realize that you're just another little being in this whole universe of things. And that when you do that, when you call yourself a human, when you call yourself an Apache, when you call yourself or whatever, what you're really doing is you're separating yourself from all that is, when all we are is part of it.
Yes, exactly. And I knew that you would have something brilliant to say about it, because I thought of you the other night at the board meeting. And then again today when I was talking to the executive director of the transition home. And I think we're all being challenged at that leadership levels, like of both my board and her board, they're being challenged to come up with something that makes a statement about who we are and who we represent, instead of the old statements, which would be segregation and division, like, and this is this new energy of the world that has come in, where we're given the opportunity to really go, who the heck are we?
Mm-hmm.
And right, and where do we fit in this world? And I don't want to be separate from you, and I don't want to have a title that says, well, I'm half Scottish and half English and adopted or whatever. We don't want those titles anymore, because what that does is take us farther away from our hearts and
Right.
our connection and our purpose of oneness. I was going to go oneness like the heart thing, but I couldn't do it. the oneness that we are. So
Right.
I found it so exciting at board level the other night, and then again today with the executive director, that I wanted to do a Facebook Live on it. And of course, I included the essential ultimate self-care, which is part of what we need to do to find that space. And
Right.
I knew you have some awesome things to say about it.
Thanks.
This is great. It's great. I love the change that's happening. I love the change. Hi, Mamadou, and hi, Diana Brienne. And I love what's happening to see when you're not out in community, you don't get to be part of that change.
Right.
And I had bought my ticket about 3 or 4 months ago, knowing that I needed to be part of that other community, because there was 300 of us. And as I said, there was maybe 15 men, but they were dignitaries, and because it was an International Women's Day. But to come together, and as I'm listening to these women speak, I'm also checking, as you know, the energy of the lay of the land. And some of it was like way over their heads, right? Way over their heads.
Yeah.
But I got to speak to our keynote speaker, and I took her aside afterwards, and she comes from a very small town on the far west coast of Canada called Lund. And she heads up Gilda Radner's comedian club in Toronto. And I took her aside, and she and I were talking at a different level. And I mentioned the word energy, and she said energy. And she looked at me and she says, "Oh my God, it's so good to talk to someone who understands energy."
Energy.
Right?
Yeah.
And she said, I purposely didn't talk about it because she knows that most people, now I don't know how awake she is, and it didn't matter because we connected on a cool level, right?
Right.
So I found that so interesting. But Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, that there's change coming and people are checking in with themselves in brand new ways, especially in leadership roles, about how do we address ourselves? Because as we know, Lauren, the frequency that's here right now is to really find out who we are
Yeah.
and right and what we stand for.
Yeah. And people,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's doing the best that they can right now. It's just a moment of transition. So,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So thank you. This was just a pop-up. I am actually going out to do my extreme self-care right now. I've been busy networking and doing my part in community this afternoon. So I'm going to go do extreme self-care to
all
myself this
right. I'm
afternoon.
going to go wrangle my
Yeah.
children.
You're probably going to do laundry too.
I
So,
already did it.
so thanks everybody for jumping on. LT Money, thank you. Rewind and replay, watch the rewind. Yes, push the rewind button. Watch the replay. And Mamadou, thanks for coming on. Diana, Brienne, and Lauren, we finally got on again
Yes.
after
Thank you.
the third try.
See,
So thank
miracles
you.
do happen.
Mhm. Thank you, and we'll talk soon, Lauren.
All right. Bye
Thanks
bye.
for your thanks for your input. Bye.